Alright. I recently printed a 31kc by Moose Mod. This feels pretty nice. It's a little bit top heavy. In the past, I also printed a Zinc 2.0. This is very sleek, very comfortable. This is a very complicated build, and I tried to print this on an Ender 3, and admittedly I spent a lot of hours to get this thing to even function, and it doesn't work that great. So the 31kc. The build on this is not too terribly difficult. This blaster isn't as proven out as the Zinc 2.0. There are some refinement issues, I will say. So, I don't know how well you can see this. This lifter, for me, didn't fire the blaster when I first printed it. I put some duct tape on it originally, and then I printed a small 0.5mm piece and super glued that in. That seems to work okay. The trigger pull is very heavy though. It works, I would say, the trigger pull works about 95% of the time, which isn't great. The duct tape actually worked a lot better, so I might go back to that, but I want to get a chance to really stress test this before I make a decision on that. Just out of the way real quick and go over a chronograph. 5 shots of the chronograph and get an average here. 145. 154. And I shot 2 fast with the chronograph. 148. Not bad. 144. And more. Now 143. So probably high 140s on average. We had one outlier in the 150s. And as you can see, every time I pulled the trigger to fire, which is good. I got the version with 6 B cards. It was recommended by Moose Mods to use one with the B cards. I did have an issue trying to get these pins to go into the PLA. That was a pain in the ass. This is a huge pain in the ass. A little large. If you overlay the two, the Zinc's probably about a 1/2 inch shorter up and down, a 1/2 inch shorter this way. And this is the 31kc. This is the compact little tiniest version of this that there is. It's right around 150. For my local worth, it has a better FPS cap. The Zinc 2.0 is very fancy. For people who are familiar with the blaster, you may notice that when I hit the mag, if I do it upside down or sideways, it doesn't auto release it. I couldn't get the pin inside here to stay. I printed this on an Ender 3. I printed that on a bamboo APS one, whatever my fiance bought. This is a nice, very compact little blaster, but the issue I had is it has too much power for how short the barrel is. When you fire this, the dart goes straight for about 15 feet. We might go straight to the wall on the other side, which is maybe another 20 feet away, and then you're going to be all over the place. Frontline Foam has like a proprietary issuance on making these, which sucks because their products aren't great. I won't say they're absolute shit like everyone else likes to say. The Spring Thunder, I did a review on previously on the channel, was actually printed by them. And outside of the ejection lever not being printed to the right infill and breaking on me, the rest of the blaster works pretty well. I haven't had too many issues with that. So, as an FPS comparison, I will say I printed this on an Ender 3. It hits like 20 FPS below what it should. This should hit like 170. I think mine hits 145 last I checked, and I haven't fired this in probably a year minus 2 shots I did before the video to make sure it still works. So if I fire this and the FPS is garbage just because I haven't lubed anything, and I'm not going to take the spark to lube anything. Oh, speaking of lubing, there's a hole in the top of the 31kc to put lube in your blaster so you don't have to disassemble the entire thing. That's a great addition. Now, for the Zinc. I shot a little arm in the chronograph. there's only 6 in this. And we'll go ahead and get those last 2 shots over the turn. 130. 126. And I did the same thing again. These little decants hold it in place. So the Zinc Prime is smoother but more stiff. From the times I've used this in a war, I've gotten some decent like redness, almost like a rug burn type of deal from priming this blaster. You have to print this top piece in PLA, and it has these little side grippy things that work great to hold it, but when you're racking this hard, it does a number on your hand. I wear between a large and an extra large glove size, so this is pretty comfortable. If you wear a medium or small glove size, your hand's not going to fit the grip of this blaster. I'm just going to be frank. It's going to be too big for you. There may be other grips that you can print. This is flared a bit in the back. So maybe if you have smaller hands, there's another grip that you can print, but this is not going to work for people with small hands. The Zinc has a smaller grip. It's overall smaller blaster. This will fit smaller people's hands. If I had to choose between the two of these, I think it's really going to come down to how much time and effort you want to put into printing the blaster, how much money you want to spend, and also what your FPS cap is. The 31KC has 3 different spring options that are 150, 200, 230 FPS, and spring and barrel lengths, I should say. This will be a lot more conducive to people, especially Western New York, who have 160, 165 for FPS caps most everywhere that we go. You can print this at 150, you know that you'll be 10 or 15 FPS below your cap. If you're going to use this as a secondary, you're not trying to hit the absolute FPS limit. Different chronographs run a lot hotter or colder depending on where you go. The Zinc 2.0 stock should be 170 if you print it correctly. Obviously, I didn't print this very well. It's also been sitting in a bin in my basement for a year. So I haven't really used it. It's not moved right now. This will hit about 170, which if you're in Western New York, it's 10 FPS or 5 FPS below the cap everywhere. That doesn't work too great. Thankfully, I printed mine like crap, so I could use it at places, but I don't. So, closing remarks. I do recommend this. If I had to choose one, regardless of FPS cap, I would still choose the 31K. When I had issues with the sear lifter, I reached out to Moose Mods and he told me that it's a new design. He had printed 12 blasters and only one of them had the same issue that I had. So I'm probably doing something wrong. I don't think I have anything else.